The Canon EOS R6 has been released. Great specifications. I don't have one in my hand, but I would like to compare it with two other cameras. The Sony Alpha 7 III and of course the Canon EOS R, which has been my favorite camera for a while now since it was released. Shot a lot of weddings and I love the system. For me as a professional photographer, the most important thing in photography are not those extra buttons and whistles and funny things that the camera do. I don't care about those. As long as my camera has M for manual, amazing autofocus, amazing LCD screen, and of course amazing lenses. Once I have all those things, that's a perfect camera. For over a year, I've been using this amazing camera, the Canon EOS R. It is the best mirrorless camera I have used up to now. It's compact, but it feels professional, it feels good in the hand. I love the grip because I can put two batteries in there and it's better to hold. Very well balanced with the lens. On July the 9th, the newer version of these cameras are coming. The EOS R6 and the EOS R5. So I've talked about the R5. R5 has all the bells and whistles, but I'm sure the R6 is going to be also a great camera for wedding and portrait photographers. So I'm going to compare this camera with the Sony Alpha 7 III and the future EOS R6. So let's have a look. Canon EOS R6, Sony Alpha A7 III, and Canon EOS R. I have used both cameras, the Sony Alpha and 7 III, and I've used the Canon EOS R. I'm waiting to grab this EOS R6. Let's have a look at the differences. The EOS R6, 20 megapixels, comparing with Sony 24.2 and EOS R 30.3. So it's slightly smaller sensor there. Most probably it's coming from the EOS 1DX Mark III. The EOS 6 will have an IBIS, so in-body image stabilization. The Sony has that also built in, but the Canon EOS R doesn't have at this stage. But it has an amazing lens with image stabilization built in, so amazing lenses. As far as the frames per second, the EOS R6 12 frames per second mechanical and 20 frames per second electric. The Sony 10 frames per second and the EOS R 8 frames per second. Dual card in the EOS R6 and the Sony. One card in the EOS R. Talking about the one SD card in EOS R. Yes, it was the negative of the EOS R, but it didn't worry me. I was backing up my files on the iPhone. It happened so smooth and I haven't had to use the backup. As a professional photographer, I love my Canon and I love my Canon EOS R. That's the most amazing thing. What I love the Canon the most is because of the RF lenses. Of course, with an adapter, you can use the EF, the old lenses, so you can use vast number of different lenses out there. But I have converted to the RF. Those are the most amazing lenses available. You see, I congratulate Canon for not rushing just the basic camera. They worked on the lenses. They came up with amazing lenses. And July 9th, we're gonna hear more of the amazing RF lenses. And now they're gonna bring the better bodies for us. So Canon, thank you. You did a great job. I love my Canon. So as far as Sony, I've been trying Sony for many years. I started with the Alpha 7, the first one. It was not as good, but it improved. Alpha 7 III is quite a good camera. Here I have the two cameras side by side, minus the EOS R6, which is still not available. I will be testing that once it comes out. I'm a bit fanatic with cameras. I buy every camera that I see. Like I said, I use the Canon as my professional camera, but also I test all the current cameras to see that I'm not falling behind with my Canon, or my Canon is less than the other cameras. I've heard so many reviews, so many negative about the Canon, but I still believe this is the king of the mirrorless. Comparing those two cameras, I even have the Alpha 9. Comparing those two cameras, easily like this, I will go with the Canon. It's very easy to use. The files are perfect. The autofocus is very much the same. The biggest magic of the Canon is their lenses. I love the ring that changes settings on the camera. That was amazing invention by Canon. I love the size because it just balances quite nicely, and it has real glass in there. This is one of the most beautiful lenses. So I have many of the Canon lenses. I got rid of my old EF lenses. Although you can use with an adapter the EF lenses on both cameras actually. Canon has a special adapter that you can use on it, but the RF is a different story in itself. Okay, I'm a bit biased about Canon here. I love the Canon. For me, at the moment, it's the best camera, and it's gonna get better soon with the EOS R5 and the EOS R6. As a wedding photographer, what's important in the Canon? That it's there. The sensor cover. That's one of the most magic things that has happened. Okay, let me turn the camera on. The sensor is open like the Sony. But when you shut it down, the sensor closes. This has saved me a lot of retouching. No dusts on my image. Whereas the Sony, it goes crazy with the dust. Canon solved that problem on this first model. The second most important feature, the LED screen. These days I don't use the viewfinder because I don't need to. The LED screen puts my face away from the camera and I can communicate with the subject and get good results. The touch screen of the Sony is only good for focusing, and it's lagging, and the screen is not as bright, as beautiful as the Canon. So if I do that, nothing is gonna happen on the Sony. But with the Canon, I click anywhere in the screen and I can make changes without touching any other button. This is amazing. It's like an iPhone. It's very nice menu system. It's exactly the same like my EOS 5D Mark IV. Nothing has changed. It works very nicely. The focusing point, when I click on the subject, I can focus wherever I want. That's a big advantage. I have changed the way I shoot. I've been shooting through the viewfinder for many years, but times have changed, and I love the Canon LCD screen. Another big, the rotating screen. This is so important. Away from my face, I can hold the camera any angle and I can see what I'm shooting. Whereas the Sony one is quite limited. Hopefully they'll improve this. The disadvantage of the Canon, one card slot, EOS R. But this is gonna be fixed in the EOS R6. There's gonna be 2 card slots. Those 3 points is why I like the Canon over the Sony. Plus, I love the colors of the Canon. Yes, Canon has a bit more noise, but that doesn't matter because noise is beautiful. A bit of texture on the image I love. Yes, Sony is nice, maybe good for video, but I shot a lot of video with my Canon. I'm shooting this with my Canon, and I've had the Sony get really hot after half an hour, where the Canon doesn't do that. The autofocus, the eye focus, Canon is as good as the Sony. Yes, when they released the first version, it wasn't good, but with firmware upgrade, they fixed it. Canon is on the way to the top. Yes, I am a Canon fanatic. I love my Canon. Sony has been a good camera. Don't forget, Sony purchased Minolta many years ago, and then Minolta was quite an advanced system. The technology came to Sony, and Sony has been producing amazing cameras. But for wedding and portrait, I still believe Canon is the one to use. Canon is, the files are so beautiful, the colors, there's no cast in the colors, there's no artificial softness in the Canon. I am so excited for the new models. This is not a critique towards Sony, because Sony is a very good camera. Sony is a great brand. I hope they all come up with great cameras. Competition is very good, very important. I'm sure Sony is gonna come back with new models and we're gonna compare. I'm gonna do a live compare once the R6 comes up with these two cameras. I'm gonna shoot maybe a wedding with all three of them, or do a live shoot with models or couples, and then I'll get more information to you guys. As far as now, I love my EOS R. Yes, the Sony is good, but I'm always getting much better, much beautiful files on the EOS R, and can't wait to see the new models. If you would like to see my images, they're all on Instagram. Love you guys. Please subscribe to my channel, guys. Thank you. Love you.